Now we started to record it. Okay, so today we're gonna talk about how healthy is your diet. I'm going to start by the acknowledgement of the country. So I would like to acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. And I would also like to pay my respects to elders past and present. Okay, so as I said, we have 4 different nutrition webinars in this series. Today is gonna be our very first one. We're gonna talk about how healthy is your diet, something like how to portion out your plate with different food from different food groups. And the next session is gonna be Wednesday, 7 o'clock next week, same time, same Zoom link. Next session will be mainly about the linkage between food and your health. So we may include something like how to manage high blood pressure, high blood cholesterol, high blood glucose, these kind of things. The third session would more include food label readings, how to buy healthy packaged food from supermarkets. So that's gonna be the week after. Same time, same Zoom link. And the week following would be prevention better than cure. That's our last session. At the last session, we're gonna talk about some supports there to make your diet healthier and your health. Okay, so we're gonna begin our today's session. This is a very interesting topic that I find. Healthy food versus healthy diet. Since I have decided to become a dietitian, I have received many questions from my family, from my friends. So the most interesting question I find is they ask me, what is the healthiest food there? Or they ask me, Alice, what food do you think is healthy? I didn't answer them directly. Why? Because if you think about orange is quite healthy in common sense. But if I have 3 orange per meal and 3 meals a day, and I have orange by itself, no other meat, no vegetables, would you then call that diet healthy? Of course, no, yeah, no. So that's why I want to discuss about healthy diet before healthy foods. So what is a healthy diet? In my sense, in my perspective, I think a healthy diet would be a balanced diet. So a balanced diet would include different kinds of food that provides different kinds of nutrition, which is gonna meet our body daily needs. So here, I would like to start a survey. Let me just start a survey. So how healthy would you rate your current diet? On a scale of 1 to 5, with 1 being poor and 5 being great, how healthy would you rate your current diet? I'll give you 30 seconds to think about that question. Yeah, more, coming, come on. Cool, have everyone answered? So here's our result. The majority of people think their diet is like, maybe at the middle. Yeah, some of them think, it's not really good. And some of you think, it's actually good, but maybe not optimal. So for those who think their diet still needs improve, I really appreciate you come to my session. This is your first step. And I hope you can get some message from me today. And if you can attend the next following 3 sessions, which will be really good. For those who might think themselves as food experts. If you do have any question you want to discuss with me, I'm quite happy to do that at the end of session as well. Okay, so the first thing I want to introduce is called energy balance. So we do have a balance here, which presents the energy in our body. The left side is our energy in, right side is the energy out. So we do have ways to have energy in, like food, beverage, alcohols, anything we eat in or drink in that containing energy would contributing to that. And we do have energy out. So majority of energy will spend on our body functions, including like daily functions like walking or heart beating, our breathing activities, or even like our body's temperature. So our body is trying to keep the temperature at around 37 degrees, which needs energy to keep that temperature as well. But unfortunately, the energy spent by the body functions is probably not something that under our control. So what is under our control would be the physical activities and exercise. So if we want to make more energy out, we probably need to think about change to a more active lifestyle. For example, if I want to go to a supermarket, I probably would choose to walk there for 30 minutes rather than drive there. So in that 30 minutes walking, I make myself more active. The other thing I can do is try to go to gym every day to do some exercise to increase that energy out. So for the staying of the weight control, if we eat same amount of fuel as we burn, our weight will become stable. So the balance will be stable. If we eat more fuel than we burn off, we'll put on some weight. So in that case, the left side of the balance will drop down, will be more heavier, and our body will try to store those energy and become our fat. If we burn off more fuels than we have taken on board, in that case, the right side of the balance will be heavier, and we burn more energy and we eat less. In that case, we lose some weight. So sometimes weight management will be as easy as that. Eat less, move more, and eat the right choice of food. Okay, so this is the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating. So I'm a dietitian. I'm not an expert for exercise. Therefore, I will talk more about the eating side. So this is the Australian Guide. If we look at the plate, see it as a clock. We look from the 12 o'clock direction. We have our first food group as vegetables. The second group as fruits. So the vegetables and the fruits, they can provide a lot of micronutrients like vitamins, and they can provide a good amount of fiber as well. So the third food group would be dairy, so milk, or milk alternatives like soy milk, or if you like, can be yogurt, cheese, they all in this group. The main function of this group is to provide us calcium. Calcium is closely related to our bone health. And the next group would be the protein group. So like meats, poultry, fish, eggs, tofu, nuts, seeds. So they mainly provide protein. Protein is closely related to our muscles. Excuse me. So the muscles need the protein to be maintained and built up. Also, the proteins will be involving a lot of our body's physiological pathways, which are essentials. And with the meat, we want to choose the lean meat. We want to remove the fat of it. For example, If you want to have a steak for tomorrow dinner, then you probably need to choose a less marble one. Or if you want to have a chicken thigh, you probably want to remove the skin on it. And the last group here would be the grain foods. So they're mainly carbohydrates, and we want everyone to choose mainly whole grain foods or high fiber cereals or bread. So here is our 5 groups here: vegetables, fruits, grains, lean meat, and other protein source, and milk and milk alternatives. If you look at the right top of the poster, it's water. So we do need a certain amount of water every day. Our recommendations would be 2 liters, more than 2 liters for general population. The water itself doesn't have any energy or minimal nutrition, but if you think about what's our body made from, it's 30%, it's 70% of water and 30% of other things. That's why we do need to keep drinking water to make up the loss every day. So the food group is actually 5 plus 1. So the 5 groups are everyday eating, those what we needed for everyday's body function and nutrition. The plus 1 would be the under the right bottom corner. Those we call it discretionary food. So what are the discretionary food? Discretionary foods are those foods that only provides us energy. So only provides us pure calories with no other nutrition or minimal of other nutrition. So what kind of food sit in this category? Alcohol, doesn't matter, it's beer, wine, or spirits. Soft drinks like Coke, 7-Ups. Processed meats like salami, sausage, ham. They're pretty high in fat and sodium, so probably sometimes will ignore the little protein part in this kind of meat. Other things would include like chips, doesn't matter is hot chips or crisp cheese, they both sit in this group. Sweets like cakes, chocolates, Tim Tam, they all sit in this group. So this group, we want to minimize our intake from this group as little as possible. The less, the better. Okay, so here I have a question for everyone. For things like beans and legumes, for example, chickpeas or green beans, which of those 5 groups does this food sit under? I'll make other polls now. So in which food groups do you think beans and legumes fall under? You can choose more than one group if you think they sit in multiple groups. Are they vegetables, or do you think they are protein source? We have 2 more people haven't voted yet. I'm gonna give you 10 more seconds. Okay, time's up. Here is our results. So majority of people think it fall under the vegetable groups. Some think they may fall under the grains, some think they may fall under the meat, and we have one chose dairy and the other one chose fruits. That's quite interesting. So beans and legumes, they do have a lot of different kinds of nutrition. So they have fibers, they have micronutrients, they also have carbohydrates, and they also have proteins. So it's quite hard to classify them under. So I would put them under vegetables and meat groups. Why is that? For the meat groups, if you are vegetarian and you would like to source out some of the plant proteins, you probably want to have some legumes and beans as your protein source. So in that case, I would put the legumes and beans under the protein source. So with meat and other protein-rich foods. So if you are like a meat lover and you really want some beans and legumes as your vegetables, that's also fine. That's also okay. In that case, I will put legumes and beans under the vegetable groups. Sometimes, because the beans, some of the beans, like the 4-beans cans, those kind of beans or baked beans, they actually have a good amount of carbohydrates as well. So sometimes we may put them, sit with the grain section on our plate. But most of the time we will consider it as either vegetables or protein source food. Okay, after knowing 5 different food groups, I would like to introduce a thing called healthy plate model. So how to plate these food on your plate. With every meal, we want to include some grains food, which provides carbohydrates, some of the lean meat, which provides protein, and some of the vegetables. So the first thing we want to do is choose a right size plate. We want to choose a medium size plate or even small size. Because if we choose a large one, we just tend to put everything on our plate and fulfill our plate with a lot of food. And we don't want to waste any food, do we? So we just intend to finish every food on the plate. So why don't we just start with a smaller plate to have a good amount of food? So after you decide which plate you use, we're gonna fill half of our plate by vegetables, a quarter of our plate by lean protein, a quarter of our plate by whole grain foods. So here I got some examples. It doesn't matter if you wanna plate it out so it can be look clearer on your plate, which is which, or you can measure it out before the cooking and mix them together. As long as the portion is there, it's good enough. So when we make like a stir fry or soup, they have to be mixed together. So we better to portion them out before we start cooking. Okay, so this is our plate. As I said, we need to fill half of our plate by vegetables. I do receive a lot of questions before, like should I eat salad like raw vegetables rather than cooked ones? Should I eat more green leafy vegetables rather than others? Should I eat fresh vegetables rather than steamed vegetables? My answer would be, it actually doesn't matter that much. The more variety you include of vegetables, the better it will be. So if you can include more than 5 variety of vegetables, that's gonna be perfect. So here I would like to make another survey. of how much vegetables do you think you eat a day? Do you think you eat enough daily? Do you think you have half of your plate filled by vegetables? Okay, 3, 2, 1, I'll close it. So we have majority of people don't think they have enough vegetables a day. And we do have some think they have enough and some not sure. So for those not sure, maybe you can start to plate out your plate with vegetables and check how much vegetables on your plate per day, per meal. And for those don't think they eat enough vegetables, it's a good time to kick a start. Doesn't matter which vegetable it will be, just be mindful of those starchy vegetables like potatoes, sweet potato, or corns. They might sit in the other side of the plate rather than in vegetable side. With the vegetables, think about what's your favorite vegetables and start to have more of them from tomorrow, maybe. I guess you already have your dinner yet. So, so that's about the vegetables. With the meat, we want a quarter of the plate filled by the meat, and it should be lean meat. So can be steak, less marble steak, can be chicken breast, can be chicken thighs without the skins, can be the salmon fillet, can be eggs, can be tofu. Yeah, then we have our grains food, so the carbohydrates. So in this picture, they put the 4-bean mix can on this side, because it does contain a certain amount of carbohydrates, but it also contains some fiber, some protein as well. So it's really up to your choice to try to portion out the plate for the beans. And if you want to, you can have some of the multi-grain breads, some of the high fiber pasta, or you can have the starchy veggie to sit on this side. Also, we want to include some of the healthy fats. This topic I will explore more in the next session. So it can be extra virgin olive oil or avocado, or even some vegetable oil. Okay, so if you tell me you don't want to use your plate to portion out, or you don't know how to put the food on your plate, so how do we measure out what we're gonna need for our meal? Can I have everyone in front of screen give me your hand? Maybe just one hand first. Put your hand in front of camera. Then first thing we can do, first thing we can do is clench our hand into a fist. Look at your fist. This is how much carbohydrate you need for one meal. We probably have, some of us have a bigger hand, some of us have a small hand. So it has a variety of different amounts. Then we open our hand and look at our palm. So this palm size is how much protein we need for one meal. It can be a small serve of steak, can be a salmon fillet, can be 2 eggs sits in there, or 2 lean lamb cutlets, a tuna can, they also fit there. Then we have our 2 hands, and we put them together like that, try to like grab something like that. This is how much vegetables we need in one meal. So 2 open hands, this much. Do you think you have met that amount for one meal? Yep. No. Okay, that's good. That's fine. We can start to make some changes from next meal. So by the saying of the hands, I do have some strategies here, some tips here for measuring out the portions. So if you look at your fingertip, that part is about 1 teaspoon. And we look at our thumb, from knuckle to the tip, that much is about 1 tablespoon. And what fist size? I said it's about our it's about our carbohydrates needs for 1 meal. So an adult woman's fist is about a cup. So I got a cup here, I got my fist here. It just fits inside. So that's how much we need. And if it's a male's fist, that's probably a little bit bigger than that. More tips here. So if we can move our eyesight to the, sorry, can we have, okay, I'll just mute. If we move our eyesight to the right top corner, then we have our cupped hand. This is how much is the recommendation of the nuts we serve one day. It's around 30 grams. So if you do have a scale, you can weigh the nuts by itself, or you can use your hand to measure out. So here we got some of the examples. We can have our plates for chicken and vegetables and rice. That's very typical healthy plate. And we can have the steak. Remember to choose the less marble ones. And I'm really glad to see this plate has 3 different kinds of vegetables on the plate. And this plate choose to have mashed potato as the carbohydrates. The next plate has fish, salads, quinoa, which is really good, and also include a variety of vegetables. Now, the spaghetti bolognese, this is a tricky one, because when we cook spaghetti and eat it, we tend to fulfill our plate with all the spaghetti and the red sauce. So if we can put half of a plate by the spaghetti with some mint sauce and fulfill the other half of the plate by some salad. This is gonna reach the healthy plate model. Or if you are vegetarian, you can have tofu as your protein and then add on some vegetables and noodles to make up a meal. Or you can have lentil and vegetable salad. More examples here. So if you wanna choose chicken curry with some cooked vegetables and salad, rice, I would recommend basmati rice or chapati from chickpeas or the whole wheat atta. Then again, if you're vegetarian, you can use tofu as your protein source, or you can make legume and vegetable pasta soup. So sandwich, the sandwich on the picture is actually very good. For me, I cannot stuff that much vegetables into the sandwich. So I will probably include another bowl of small salad with my sandwich. And the meat you wanna put in the sandwich probably will be chicken breast or tin tuna rather than the processed meat. And I did have some questions from my clients saying they couldn't reach the healthy plate model for their breakfast. So this one is actually a really good breakfast meal idea. So to have some vegetable omelette with toast and include a little bit eggs, that can also reach the healthy eating plate model. Okay, so this is about it, our today's session. Think about what we have been discussed today. So we have discussed about balanced diet to include food from different groups. And we talk about what food in the food groups exactly. So we have vegetables, we have fruits, we have lean protein, so lean meat. Then we have whole grains, and we have dairy products. The third one is probably the most important message for today, the portion control, which is the healthy eating plate model. I made this plate empty, but I'm pretty sure you have ideas of which food put on which area. So we're gonna put the half plate by vegetables, a quarter by protein source, the other quarter by carbohydrates, which are the grains. Okay, so if you do want some tailored advice for your diet, or if you do have a chronic condition that you want to be managed by the dietitian, you can always ask for a care plan from your GP, and I will do bulk bill. Or you want to pay $55 for the private 30-minute session. So this is about it. Our next session will be held next Wednesday, 26th of May, 7 o'clock. Same Zoom link, same time. We're gonna talk about how to eat well to manage your health. So we're gonna explore the linkage between food and probably your blood test results, like blood sugar, blood cholesterol, and blood pressure mainly. Okay, hope everyone enjoyed my session today. Does anyone have any question? Thanks, Janet, for your clap. I did see someone raise their hand. Do you want to turn on your microphone and speak out?
Hello, Alice.
Hello.
My question is, with IBS diet, I find lots of vegetables I can't eat. So I do tend to eat lots of potatoes, which you've just mentioned are quite starchy. I have lots of spinach, but I think, and salad, but I think I just get tired of the same vegetable. So what can you suggest? I mean, I don't like a lot of broccoli. So they're the 3 or 4 main vegetables that I cook. Can you give me any other suggestions to fill up that plate of cooked vegetables?
Yep. Have you seen a dietitian for your FODMAP?
Yeah, I'm actually seeing you for you, and we're sort of going through that. I've just had 3 sessions with you, but just to get me going, I'm currently with you doing my challenge at the moment. I've done onion, garlic, bread, apple. So that's what I've done with you for the challenge.
Yes,
so what
Louisa.
else can I have? Yeah.
Yes, Louisa, I'm going to meet you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I did prepare something for you about that, the fibers and vegetables. But just general message here. Some of the things, even IBS patients, they are a bit sensitive of it. Sometimes we just need to be careful of the portions. For example, if you feel symptomatic with maybe like a whole can of corns, maybe then you can try half corn or a quarter of the can. So that's one thing. The other thing would be explore out what kind of vegetables that doesn't trigger your symptoms, and try to include a variety of it. So I guess with your personal case, I'll leave that until we meet next, okay? Thank you, Louisa. Do we have any other question? Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Karina. Okay, if we don't have any question, I'll stop here today. Thank you, Louisa. I don't think we need to book for next week's session because it's the same Zoom link. Okay, so it will depend on Westgate Health, so maybe pay attention to their updated information and news. Yeah, just to check out the Westgate Health website for that. No, you're all right, Valerie. You didn't miss much things at the beginning. Thank you, Kurt. I look forward to see your face next time. Thanks, Janet. So Janet has put a link in the chat box. If you do want to register for the next session, you can pay attention to the website about the upcoming events. And I will see you in next week, Wednesday. Same time, same Zoom link.
Thanks, Alice.
Thank you.
See you next week.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Agnes. Bye, Joanne.